obviously, President Biden pays a surprise visit to Ukraine just, I think it was 2 days ago, or maybe even yesterday, but I think it's yesterday. He pays a visit. President Biden arrives in Kyiv, Ukraine, in a surprise visit to meet the President Zelensky and to announce additional $500 million in U.S. assistance ahead of one-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of the country. The new aid package includes artillery ammunition, anti-armor systems, and air surveillance radars, but no new advanced weapons. Biden stated that this visit was to reaffirm our unwavering and unflagging commitment to Ukraine's democracy, sovereignty, and territorial integrity, and to share that the U.S. will announce additional sanctions against elites and companies backing Russia's war machine. Biden's visit to Ukraine comes at Russia as Russia is expected to ramp up its offensive once again, and Ukraine officials warn of massive barrage of missiles that Russia may launch on February 24th. Here's an interesting thing to be thinking about. He did this on President's Day and never visited East Palestine. Pete Buttigieg took him 10 days to even recognize the events in East Palestine. Kamala hasn't gone. They're not talking about the issues that's going on there. $100 billion given to them. All of this stuff going on. The other day I did the math on how many total homeless people we have in America. Check this out. They say they want to end homelessness, okay? Do you know the $100 billion that we gave to Ukraine, okay? If homelessness in America is that big of an issue, you can clean it up. There's 524 total homeless people in America. Roughly a third of that is in California, okay? 524. If you took that $100 billion, each homeless person could get $170,000 if you divide it up. Now, you don't need to give it to them. If we took that money and we created a place for them to go to, live, work, shelter, different things, and cleaned up those streets, what would happen to safety in those communities? What would happen to those things? Now, I'm not somebody that's endorsing us going and spending the next $100 billion for you, because somebody's going to come down and say, well, now, would you support this now? Would you support this now? No. What I'm saying to you is the constant spending of the money that we have, what if we take that, while we have the issues here, we're going to Kyiv, while people in East Palestine are wondering what's going on with their water, you're going over there. So anyway, so while that's taking place, China and Russia's getting close at the same time. China's coming out and saying we're great allies. And then simultaneously, while this is going on, for the first time since the 70s, Russia started loading nuclear missiles on ships. First time since the 70s while this is going on, okay? And then Zelensky comes out and says if China allies itself with Russia, there will be world war, and I do think that China is aware of that.
You want to know something, Pat? You guys want to know why I think all this is happening, why the border's open, why China's flying balloons, why everything's going to shit, while Russia's threatening, getting out of the START treaty and doing all that stuff, is because we have right now a weak leader. And I'm going to make my point. You guys ever watch National Geographic, Tom? And you see a lion who's technically the king of the jungle, but he either gone to a fight and he's limping and you see that he's weak. You know what the jackals and the hyenas and all, they all start to look and they're like, oh shit, the king is hurt. So they start to bite at his leg, and once they realize, okay, he doesn't have anymore, everybody attacks. Right now, America is that injured lion. Russia's doing shit that they've never done since how long, Pat? China's literally flying fucking balloons over our nuclear missile bases that I was stationed in. The border's wide open. China's sending fentanyl to kill our youth and get money back from us. We are such in a weird position right now. Shit that people haven't done since the 70s. It doesn't look good. And I'm genuinely, for the first time, I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if something did pop off where somebody's like, oh shit, somebody launched something that they weren't supposed to launch, and all hell breaks loose. Because no matter what you think, I know for a fact, working at a nuclear missile base, if one person launches one, it's over. Because everybody's going to panic. Oh shit, can you imagine that? Somebody launched a nuke, it's over. It's over. And I feel like we're getting close to that point, because those people with power, Putin feels like he's getting surrounded, bro, and that's not good. It's not a good
Tom.
Thing. I think Vinny's right about the vacuum of leadership, and I think we have a weak leader in America right now. And I think that we are still the greatest country in the world, and we can solve our problems. We can come together as a diverse people and get that done, but it needs strong leadership, and that leadership is not just at the top. The leadership calls on all of us to step up, starting with our schools. I feel incredibly strong about education and incredibly strong about providing safe, balanced education, and weak leadership at the top, weak leadership in the home, weak leadership at your school. You make a great point. And there's a vacuum out here that's just screaming.
Tom,
to
let me
be
ask
filled.
the question, though. Here's a question. The question we started off with is Russia, Biden being in Ukraine, not going to East Palestine, concerns of Russia, putting their weapons on the ships, seeing the fact that China is uniting with Putin and saying, hey, we will sell you lethal weapons for the first time, not like regular weapons, lethal weapons. All of these things are, going in the direction of, could this lead to an all-out war? Are we there or are we not there yet?
Sorry about that. I was reacting. Yeah. I thought you were asking me about my response to Vinny.
I want to know this story.
To the original question, going back here, I think what is happening right now is the West, and let's call it the East, are fighting a proxy World War III in Ukraine. And you have to remember, let's take a look at the weapons that are being given. Have you noticed? But we will never give them those tanks. We'll give them some of this. We'll give them money for armaments. We'll give them money for small arms. We'll give them money for grenade launchers. Get money but we won't give them Stingers. Okay, hell, give them Stingers. If you notice that the level of weapons, and they keep making a point of it in each one of the articles, is, but they're giving them lethal now, but we're not going to give them these, but we're going to give them those. It's escalating, and I feel like it's a proxy world war that's being fought in the Ukraine, as both sides are providing and to a certain degree testing weapon systems that they're giving to Ukrainians and giving to Russia. China's giving stuff to Russia, and the West is giving stuff to Ukraine. Remember, we weren't going to give them any planes at all? And then they said, Poland, give us your NATO planes, please, give us the better planes that we can have. And Poland said, well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I think we're fighting a proxy war, and it's going one step at a time, a drip at a time, Pat, on the advanced weapons.
And Pat, where's the outrage? The president of the United States, on President's Day, mind you, flew to fucking Ukraine, gave them another $500 million. I don't think people just throw those numbers around. $500 million, okay? East Palestine, there's a freaking, dude, fish are dying, dogs are dying, people can't drink the water. You know what America is right now? Imagine having, your dad's sick at the house, Pat, and he's God forbid dying of cancer. You have the means to help him, but we're like, you know what? I'm gonna donate to like a charity that's. Where's the outrage? Or what the fuck is? I'm sorry for my language. What is going on? Like I don't get it. I don't understand. How much money collectively have we given to Ukraine? $100 billion.
Billion.
What?
100
that
billion.
doesn't make.
Right.
Remember we had that talk, Adam, when what's her name was here. It's not gonna be a trillion. I think what was she saying?
Katie Hopkins, yeah.
She said it was 100 trillion.
Yeah.
But
Think about this: $100 billion. And I don't give a damn. I feel bad for what's going on over there. I don't care about Ukraine. I care about us. Why is putting America first such a bad thing? Why can't we come first?
In Palestine, my thought about this is, I don't understand why it's being ignored. What is on those trains, and who owns those trains that is able to drop the dime on the media and our political leaders so that everybody ignores it? I'm actually confused. Well, I'm not confused. I think somebody has dropped the dime and is suppressing the whole story. But how effectively did they? If it wasn't for Twitter, America wouldn't know.
And Pat, we talked about this before I walked in here. How crazy is this, Yeonmi? There's a documentary last year, December, called White Noise. That the movie is set in 1984. A trail derailment with toxic chemicals in East Palestine. If we're not living in the Matrix, that's a fact that happened in this movie last year in December.
Wait, this is this is what you were talking about.
I told you before we walked in
Zoom in a
here.
little bit so we can see the story.
This was a movie in 1984 set, and in the movie there's a train derailment in East Palestine, and it dumped chemical thing. If that is not insane, like I don't know what is. An airborne toxic event. I'm sorry. Is that what are the odds? Is that crazy?
So go back to this. So
Yeah.
are we at a point. So Putin doesn't want NATO to keep getting stronger. NATO keeps acting like Ukraine is part of NATO. U.S. And by the way, this is not a Democratic thing. Mitch McConnell said the most important thing we can do right now is support Ukraine. So it's not like it's a Democrat.
Yeah.
McConnell is supporting this. There's a lot of people that are not supporting this. Jimmy Dore, they had a rally this Sunday in D.C. And there was a bunch of people there. Tulsi Gabbard's there. A bunch of how DeSantis feels about this, how Trump feels about this. A lot of people are against constantly sending resources to these guys. But are we at the tipping point where all of a sudden, boom? Because the way this is going to go is the moment the first person goes, like you said earlier, it's go time.
It's a wrap.
There's no more looking back and taking your time with it.
Nope.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's why it's so scary. I think it's a word some like a distant memory for Americans currently, so they don't really understand how serious this thing is we are playing with right now. There's actual possibility of war, World War III with a nuclear power country. We are somehow think it's not possible, and so let our guard down. And also, it's like our country's a mess. It's not really a strong position. Everything's working. The country's a complete mess. China is. Their ambition is destroying America. North Korea's only goal is destroying America. I don't know what's Iran's. Is it too?
Death upon America.
Yeah, but we're on the same.
Literally, that's what they say. Bad America.
Yep.
Death upon America.
So pretty clear.
Yeah.
Their only purpose in their life is destroying America.
Yeah.
And they are supporting Russia right now. So what are we doing? I think that's so. I'm raising a child. I don't know what kind of future that he's gonna have. But I think this is where people in America, because they never experience any difficulty in life, they cannot fathom that how easily this peace can go away. And it's not even democratically it's chosen. Who decides that we can give this much money to Ukraine? Who decides that? Isn't this like a democracy? I don't remember voting for that bill.
Yeah, me neither.
It's I thought this was democracy. Who chose that it was okay to send that much money?
Well, there's... If I may, by the way, we're about to reach the 1-year anniversary of the war in Ukraine. So that's, I think, part of the reason.
Cow,
that's the
that's
reason
fast.
that he went over there on President's Day or President's Day weekend. There
The big guy went over there.
I think regarding the amount of money that's being spent, that's an entirely okay conversation to have. Congress has approved this budget. It's foreign affairs. It's part of the entire budget. As you know, Tom, the majority of our GDP of our budget goes to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. That's where the vast majority goes. And then beyond that, it goes to our defense. And then beyond that, what Pat touched on the other day was the freaking interest we have to pay on the amount of debt that we have. So I think it is incumbent on cities, first and foremost, Chicago, LA, New York, to clean up their own mess. Okay, it's not the federal government's job to clean up homelessness. I actually don't think that homelessness is something that we can fix. I think there's always going to be people who are fucked up, and there's always going to be homelessness in every country, regardless. But back to Ukraine. I think two things can be true at once. I stand steadfast with this. Charlie Kirk said it the other day. It is just entirely immoral, not the right thing to do for a country to invade a sovereign country and invade their sovereignty. You just can't do that. That's just not anything that we stand for in America. We believe in democracy, believe in borders. We don't play that game. And that's part of the reason that we're backing Ukraine. At the same time, we can question, dude, how much freaking money are we spending over here? How much longer are we going to do this? If we learned anything in Afghanistan, it's like, we don't want to be in fucking wars that just never end. How long is this going to go? And if it's the quote unquote technical 1-year anniversary of the invasion, but they've been doing this thing since 2014 in Crimea. Yeah. So this is an ongoing thing. Is this going to turn into another Afghanistan? I hope not. And then just breaking news right now is on Wall Street Journal. Chairman Xi of China is planning to visit Moscow today or this week. And this is right after Putin, who has now officially suspended the nuclear arms treaty with the United States of America. So these are real life things. Tom touched on this proxy war. This is escalating to a point where we in America, for the first few months, Ukraine, support Ukraine. nobody gives a shit about Ukraine anymore. Like, just live your life.
Yeah.
At this point, the war's escalating. People are dying. I think a couple 100,000 people have died. There's something called diplomacy. We need to figure out who in America is going to be the diplomat to basically provide diplomacy so we can end this freaking war. Nobody wants it.
It's not, great points. I mean, I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. She's going to go visit Russia, and she's probably going to bring the spy balloon info and tell them all the shit that I'm being serious. Show them everything, and then Adam, Pat, you know what the START treaty that he's saying he's not going to go in? I think it's 1,550. Between us and Russia, we can have, or it might be individual ICBMs that have the re-entry system. You know what I mean? That can actually come in and land and hit where they want. He's backing out of that. So basically, that's Russia saying we could put these systems on whatever the hell we want because, bro, Russia is I think we're 1 and Russia's number 2, right, Pat? For nuclear arsenal and threat, for them to say, listen, we're backing out of this because we want to be able to put more, not just the warheads, the re-entry system, which tells it where it could sit and where it could land. And that's, dude, I'm telling you right now, that is not a good team to be teaming up as those two, bro. I'm telling you, it's not going to be good.
Oh my God.
Pat, well, one final point. We have the luxury in America to sit here on the other side of the world and genuinely rest easy at night. If you're in Europe, because one thing I'll continue to remind you is the entire EU supports this war.
I know.
The entire EU. So if you're Germany, if you're Poland, if you're on that NATO border, you're the ones who literally would be facing nuclear
100%
death, okay?
Yep.
So if they're still behind this, as America, are we taking their cues from them or are they taking our cues from us? Or is it a symbiotic relationship? I don't know. But if they're resting easy at night, I think we can too.
I mean, I don't know.
But what do we want out of this war? Like, what do we want? Do we want the Putin to die? Like, we want to destroy
Very
Russia?
good question.
Like, what is our goal of keep going this path?
I think you nailed it on the head, Yeonmi. What is the goal?
Yeah.
We've set the precedent. Hey, we don't stand for this. We've entered this war. I think you're absolutely...
made a statement.
Yeah, what's the point now?
Yeah.
And I think we need to read into basically what Biden is saying is that he's reaffirming our relationship with Ukraine and we're not stopping. And I would like to know what the ideal outcome is for doing all this.
What else would it be?
But maybe Pat, they have a shitload of dirt on his ass because we already know. I'm just saying. Hold on. I'm just weighing. I'm giving you a bunch of options, and you know what Zelensky's saying? Hey, bro, we got all that shit on the laptop. We got all of it. Just keep giving us. Keep giving us. I'm just saying, could that be a little bit of a?
It's not Biden's war. Congress has approved this.
Yeah, but hold on. But Biden,
Yeah.
hold on. Biden basically gave Russia the. Remember when he said, "You guys could do a little minor incursion. It won't really." Biden gave them the okay to just come on in, bro. Biden from the beginning was like, "Come on in." That's on record. Biden gave to Russia. He said, "Yeah, we won't get that mad if they do a minor incursion in Ukraine." He said that shit live. He basically gave them the green light to come in.
What's your point?
My point is Biden is compromised. So for somebody to be giving a country that much freaking money, just open wallet all the time and going to visit and kiss this guy's ass, there has to be other elements involved. I'm saying it's not just one thing, but she made a great point. Why? Could somebody answer me why? Yeah, I think what you're going to see in Russia will be held accountable if it invades, and it depends on what it does. If it's one thing like a minor incursion, and then we end up having to fight about what to do and not do. Like, dude, that's giving somebody a green light. Go. You could drop a couple bombs. Just don't really go to war. So how do you say that?
Good point you're making there, Vinny.
Thanks.
Right. Listen, we're gonna learn what's gonna happen with this. With the $100 billion, the point wasn't to fix homelessness. That's a mindset issue that we're having. There's a reason why it keeps happening in LA. To me, that's policies is the real issue. Mm-hmm. It's the example to say, Democrats, if you claim you care about homeless people as much as you do, this is what you could have done with the money given to Ukraine. Your cause, your need, your money could have helped America, but it went elsewhere. That was the point with the homeless stuff that we're talking about.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.